I'm the greatest bodybuilder ever. And one tough son of a bitch.
"15 years ago, April '99, after I placed 4th at the Arnold Classic before my first Mr. Olympia, which I finished second to last, 240 pounds.
I've secured the legacy on the competition stage. I've done it, I've lost it, I won it back. It's not about how many times you win it, it's about the fashion you win it in. I still think I'm still the biggest name in bodybuilding. You hear the stories about someone becoming a bodybuilder because they were short or they were picked on or this and that. That wasn't never the case with me. For me, it was doing things at the fullest, which I learned through my whole life. If you're going to do something, you're going to do it all the way. I thought, okay, I'm going to be a bodybuilder and I'm going to take it as far as I can take it.
Cutler!
It was about me getting on the stage and just showing my physique. And it'd be like asking me, who's your favorite bodybuilder? I really don't have one. Cutler is my favorite bodybuilder, of course. Who's the greatest of all time? I'll tell you, Cutler's the greatest of all time. I have something that a lot of these guys don't have, and I don't even have to know them to know that they don't have it, because it's very rare. And that's, the drive and the determination to be at your absolute best. And what I've done and what I continue to do and what I plan to do is still much bigger than anyone's going to do in this business. I have no question.
When you think you've seen someone work hard, like, oh man, he works hard, and then you meet someone like Jay and you're like, this is a whole nother ball game. Like, the game kind of changed. After, obviously what we do every day here, he also has to go out and travel every week. He has to speak to other people. He has to, he's an ambassador for the sport. So him being, technically my mentor, like, obviously we're friends, but I look at him more as like, a mentor and someone who's guiding me, because I can tell you in the time and a lot of time that we've been together, the stuff that I've learned is kind of priceless.
This is all about the fans. So for me, I gotta sit, I gotta be able to produce money to obviously, to keep coming out with new stuff and give people something to see. Now, yes, I've become one of the best merchandisers as far as, online stuff for, in the bodybuilding market, but it's with help through like guys like this. I mean, he's a 21-year-old kid, he's keen on a lot of stuff.
He does a lot too. It's not just, I more or less just kind of set it in front of him, because at this point, what I'm trying to do is take the pressure, take all of the workload off of him, because it's not his job, it's my job, and also he has he's training for the show.
For me, I was kind of like thrown out there and being like, you have to learn on your own. And you learn from mistakes, and I tell him, my success, what I've done in my career, everyone looks at it and says, God, Jay's been successful, a lot of things he's done, but I failed at so many things, and that's how I've become successful, because I know the mistakes, and you have to make those mistakes before you learn. Early in my career, I had great success. I won almost every show I ever did. I turned professional in my 3rd or 4th contest. Going into the Olympia, I had huge expectations. My first Mr. Olympia, 99. And I finished 15 out of 16. And I quit after that show. I'm like, you know what, this is just, am I just not good? I actually questioned myself for the only time ever in my career. I said, okay, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to get settled. I'm going to compete in the Night of Champions in 2000. And I won. I beat, the likes of Paul Dillette, these guys. I won my first professional show, which I was not even on the radar for. And that was justification and made me realize that I could be very good. That's when I kind of knew I could be like the best soon.
Is the winner of this year's Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. Is the hottest new pro to come on the scene in the last couple of years. Second place in this year's Mr. Olympia. Mr. Jay Cutler.
I was great, and I was talked about as an upcoming pro, and like I thought, okay, I'm gonna win this thing, like 1 year, this year, next, right around the corner. And I got second 4 times to Coleman in a row. And to be honest, I mean, when I got to 2004, I was at wit's end, man. I was pretty much like, I think I said in 2006, if this doesn't happen, I mean, I'm going to start thinking about doing something else.
Ronnie's been here winning the show for the past, how many years, Ronnie? 6 years. But this is my town.
It just got frustrating. The guy won 8 times, and I was second 4 already out of those 8 to him. I sat out 1 year, so that's basically 5 years that I was like waiting for this guy to be beat, and I understand the guy was probably the best bodybuilder ever, but at the same time I was like the guy right there. It was like me and him in the show every year, and then everybody else. So the show was being sold as like the Jay and Ronnie show.
I've been coming here, and getting second all these times, and since 2001, and they said the champ can't be taken out. Well, you know what? The new champ's in town.
I think the dedication and the commitment to being who I was and staying with it and actually winning is what people can look at as just, if you really put your time and effort in, eventually good things will come. I think pretty much I've secured the legacy on the competition stage. I really don't have any real specific goals as far as my physique. It's more on the aspect of the legacy of Jay Cutler and where it's going to go from here. Once you win the Olympia, I always tell people, it's not about how many times you win it, it's about the fashion you win it in. So for me, I won, I beat the greatest guy of all time. I lost the title and I came back and won when no one thought I could do it. I'm pretty satisfied with the way things have gone and continue to go and what the future holds at this point. For me, what I learned all along is the only real money I made that stayed was money I invested in myself. And through even the small stuff, like the videos, which at the time were huge. I did like a trainer site, which didn't end up doing what it could have, but I didn't have to put a ton of money into it. The signature items like, the Jay Cutler Shaker Cup and the Fat Grips and things that I chose to endorse. The belt line was chic with the Jay Cutler signature belt. All that residual stuff, that's money for forever that's just going to come in, You can make a drastic amount of money being a marketer and traveling, doing guest appearances, being involved socially on the internet. I had my clothing line and I did things that no one ever did, the DVDs, and I was kind of the leader of all that stuff and becoming an endorser I made up so many endorsements. I mean, I created I was the first one ever to be contracted by any magazine. I was contracted by Flex and Muscular Development at the same time. I was the first one ever with both those magazines. I created that for the athletes. My first Muscle and Fitness cover is here. I was 21 years old in this cover. This was taken in Marina Del Rey. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was 1995, and that was my first Muscle and Fitness cover. And that was the beginning. I would say if anyone asked me what was the highlight cover, was for sure Joe Weider put me on Muscle and Fitness cover. Looking back and looking at my success, it's hard to think, well, I would have done things much differently. I always said if I won the Olympia, I'll try to do something different than the last guy did. I did in certain aspects, but I was so consumed with the training and the travel schedule and the demand of the sponsors that I had so little time to commit to that. Pulled myself away and I secluded myself. I became very selfish because I wanted to avoid any conflict that would affect my training. And that was my life. And that became, in the beginning, a show a year, then it turned into 2 shows a year, then multiple shows, and then eventually it was like When I wasn't training for the show, I was booked at events, so no weekends were available to go see my family and spend time with my family, and I missed weddings and missed anniversaries and missed birthdays. And you know, now looking, my dad's 84, my mom's 72. I'm trying to get there as much as I can to be with them. And obviously my brothers and sisters, you know, their kids are all grown now, married, children. I mean, it's crazy. It's life goes by quick, and that's when you sit and realize, like, you know, there could have been a lot of opportune times to spend more time with the family.
You know, that's how I'm so successful, is cut out anything. I can cut things in a minute. I can be your best friend, talk to me on the phone every day. And people used to be like, what happened to you? You disappeared. I haven't talked to you. So I'm training for a contest, man. They're like, well, why didn't you say anything? You're like, it's one day it just stops. I said, that's how it works. You know, I told you, when the phones go off, when this training starts, you know what, I don't answer the telephones. I don't have time to talk about what's going on outside of the gym in my house and training for this competition. It's just the competitive nature of an athlete.
You know, I wish I had the answer for what the future brings. I have an idea. It involves a lot of work, but it's definitely a more mature stage. I mean, I think the competitive side's slowing down. I can't say when that's going to end, but I know my focus today is stepping into my job and stepping out. I know, you know, my training has gotten a little more loose. I'm a businessman. I'm not just a bodybuilder anymore. I'm not just zoned in on winning Mr. Olympia titles anymore. I've done it. I've lost it. I won it back. Yeah, I'd like to win one more, but I realized that to keep a level base and to keep moving forward and to have the success where I want to go now, not just on the stage but off the stage, it's necessary to find more balance, and that's what I'm focused on. And that's every day moving forward. There's never going to be a day that passes that I'm going to step out and people aren't going to know who Jay Cutler is. I don't see it ever happening. You know, I've been a 4-time champ, you know, and I've been 6-time runner-up. And I'm the greatest bodybuilder ever. There's no question. I feel that I'm the greatest.
Jay Cutler!
Let's go, Jake. Come on.
Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up.
Mentally, you have to be, I think, a little crazy. People approach me and they say, Jay, what's the secret? What's the secret? What's the secret?
I don't like to eat anything. If you ask me what my favorite food is, I don't have a favorite food. I don't look forward to any meal at all.
You're a living legend. That's what's amazing about what I do. And I'll tell you, Jay Cutler's the greatest of all time.